What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is November 25th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about a wide range of things, from talking about the bottom in Bitcoin at $6,500, now up to $7,200, about 10-11% over the last few hours, and then also talking about traditional markets and why we've removed our bearish position on equities to a neutral position. All right, so we've got a lot of things to discuss. Let's go ahead and dive right into it, but I want to let you all know towards the end of the video, we're going to have a review for Ledger Nano X, so stay around for that. I think it's a good one. Let's go ahead though and take a look at the market. So taking a look over the last 24 hours, we can still see most cryptocurrencies are still slightly down at the moment, following again a continued correction overnight. However, over the last few hours, we have been able to see a good revival in price. Most of those gains completely removed, especially in the price of Bitcoin here, and also fending a little bit of Bitcoin dominance here, but nothing too steady. We'll also take a look at that if you guys would like. You see the volume has been building up here again, as you all very well know. No matter what coin aggregate site you look at, the vast majority of volume is fake. We do not have $130 billion trading in cryptocurrencies. But we can see here that we're riding very smoothly, very near the $200 billion mark, right? And again, this is twice the amount of valuation, roughly speaking, of where we were back in December 15th of 2018. So it's not the end of the world, right? But it's not, I think, as much as, it's not what a lot of people would want to see. But as far back as back here, we had talked about the possibility of us coming back after this initial sell-off to about $200 billion. We talked about this in my newsletter. We talked about it on the channel. I always try to, again, give you guys the same kind of transparent signals and stuff as I talk about in the newsletter here on the channel about what I'm watching for, especially because I'm looking at things on a macro time frame. And that's going to be what I want to start off the video with here, guys. I put out a tweet this morning. It was something that just kind of kept pecking at my head. And I usually don't like to put out negative tweets. I usually like to be a more optimistic person or put something funny out. It's kind of what Twitter feels like it's for at the end of the day, to mention interesting thoughts and get discussion going. Well, it usually is, and it's usually a lot of negative posts for the most part. But I wanted to put a little bit of a tweet out, and I'm not, pointing fingers at anyone specifically. It was just something I noticed en masse. So I basically stated crypto Twitter showed me two things this week, right? And I know many of you actually browse crypto Twitter when you're trading to get ideas. It can be a great place to get some insight from a variety of individuals. And I know a lot of people discredit people, but it's like there's some actually good charts in TA, and it's just good to get another perspective. But hear me out here. These are the two things that I noticed. A lot of people are calling themselves active traders and aren't even setting proper stops. And the reason I can tell this is because I see a vast amount of traders who are talking about risk management and using stops or limits. And now they're setting tweets like screaming off the top of their head that Bitcoin's dipping and that it's the end of the world. For a trader, it shouldn't be if you set proper stops, or that means your risk profile was way too off from what you're willing to lose. So that's not a really good sign of a good trader, right? And second off, a bunch of these people are on the verge of selling everything who are really never in it for the long term. And this is probably where it hits most to home, guys. I know that there are a bunch of people in crypto. Many of you may be watching. This doesn't discredit you or make you any lesser of an individual. But I know there are a lot of people out there who are just simply in this space to make money. Right? And they don't really care about cryptocurrencies. They just thought they could buy into it and make a crap ton of money really quick. And again, if you fit in that boat, there's nothing really wrong with that, in my opinion. Everyone wants to make money. I've invested in traditional markets. But if you're not in this for the long haul, and you're going to try to trade the short term and make very mad gains in a very short period of time, I hate using these like childish analogies we build in the space. It's funny sometimes, but it's when we really get down to it, guys, like if you're in that mindset, you're not going to win out. You're likely going to lose money. These markets are extremely volatile, right? And to be fair with you guys, let's take a step back and let me be a little bit humble here, right? I've averaged in a lot into positions here on the way down, right? As we've started to correct from 14K, started adding around 9,800 and 10,000, and then also down towards the 7,000 range. I've been buying some altcoin positions throughout here. Some of them I'm up on, and some of them I'm slightly down on. Nothing to fret about, though. It's nothing that's going to get me concerned overnight because A, I haven't sold, and B, I never plan to sell until we go onto the full-scale cycle. I'll give you guys a quick analogy here. Right, the other day, so I had a variety of positions, and one of my altcoin positions of Link around like $2.20, right? And the other day, just 2 weeks ago, right, I was up at $3, like I think on most of my positions, or I guess they were all at $3 in that case, the positions that I'm currently holding, right? Now, you could sit there and say, Nick, oh, that was almost like a 50% return you could have locked in, all right? But the thing is, I haven't fretted one bit about it because I'm not selling at $3. I'm not looking to make a trade to $3 or $4 and go, woohoo, I doubled my, I made 50% or I doubled my money. No, I'm in this for double-digit territory. I'm in this for multipliers on my investments because I know cryptocurrency markets have done it in the past, and I know that at less than 1% of global adoption, this market has so much room to expand. And I'm not worried about the short term. Now, you guys might say, Nick, you're beating a dead horse by this point, but I think there's still a lot of people who need to hear that, right? And I'm not telling you guys what to do. You don't have to copy me, and you shouldn't copy one individual trader because I'm not perfect, and neither are any of the people on crypto Twitter. We're all individuals at the end of the day just trying to get an understanding of this market. The best I can provide, though, is that historically speaking, long-term, Bitcoin, the broader crypto market, has relatively predictable cycles. It's a matter of positioning yourself for those relatively predictable cycles, waiting for all the choppy price action and uncertainty to go away, and eventually we enter into the cycle. And if you've got a position or stake, then historically speaking, in that case, you can win out if you time those, periods right? After the 80% corrections. So anyways, that's why I've been averaging in. I even saw, for example, a guy named Darla here, adding 1,000 link on Coinbase here. Again, this is the kind of mindset here, guys. No fear in the market right now. Not falling into the crowd's emotion, right? This is where being a contrarian is going to pay out. And look what's happened over the last 24 hours for those who did that, right? Take a look at the 5-minute here. Absolute rally off of 6,500 upwards towards $7,200. This is the kind of stuff I like to see, right? And lo and behold, as we talked about yesterday on the channel, one of the short-term levels we were looking at, I thought it would take a few days to get there, so I was wrong in that regard. But we did talk about, again, coming down to this range of previous resistance around 6,500, or down here to 6,100 on previous support. And it looks like we may have found a potential bottom. I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the absolute bottom, but I know, simply put, that this is the range I like to buy. Anything down here, right? And some of you might say, oh, now I feel like I'm paying a premium if I bought at 7,200, right? I know there's some traders out there who would shy away from that, but that's not, it's like all this is so short-term thinking, guys. It's such short-term thinking. If you're getting this down here, in my opinion, you're buying into the 40 to 50% discount range. We usually don't get it this low with these corrections, these midterm corrections after we exit the accumulation phase, yet we haven't still gotten above the previous all-time high to enter into the next bull cycle, right? These opportunities are far and few, but you're going to have to choose what you guys want to do. And if you see eye to eye with me, if you disagree, it's completely fine, guys. Just providing my perspective. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin dominance. I'm not going to take a look at altcoins. Again, as I mentioned, not too much serious gains here. I will say, though, that there is a chance here, as I was talking about, a chance for this to break down below the level here, and that would make me really confident for altcoins to continue. Got to give credit to Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is actually pressed up higher and looks like it may be able to pass to 69 and continue higher to test for possibly breaking past the previous highs. But it's got a pretty long way to go before it can set that higher level here in this case, which is going to be above probably around 71, because it'll take us above 70 point, let's see the actual high, 70.84 on Bitcoin dominance. So we'll see what happens, right? You guys know I'm neutral on this. I'm waiting for a trend reversal, not only for a higher high in this case, if we are to go bullish on Bitcoin over altcoins, but along with that as well, we're taking a look here on the weekly trend, right? So again, we'll have to see what happens here. Again, definitely taking a little bit longer than what we thought, and I think it makes sense here, right? I'm going to keep this on the chart, guys. I still think there's a very good chance if the weekly indicators still apply the pressure. And we're getting actually the indicator built right now to combine all three of our favorite indicators. If that continues to show that there's no upward momentum, then we're going to remain bearish. But if it does flip, then in that case, I'll start to alleviate some of my altcoin positions possibly. Again, I'm still holding my crypto exposure, but feel completely confident and fine going between being liquid and going between those positions, so long as I'm exposed to crypto. That's my general philosophy. I'm riding it until 2021, 2022. And I'll still always hold some crypto no matter what, because I love this space. And I think it's important, and actually, just like any other market, it's good to have diversified exposure for the most part. All right, so some news here for Thailand. So Thailand is planning to pass cryptocurrency laws or new reform. So I'm really excited about this. Now, there's not too much detail, but this is generally kind of the major two sets of paragraph. It's down here. So the Securities and Exchange Commission of Thailand plans to modify its regulation on digital assets next year. And this is already after some pretty positive legislation that was passed in 2018 that was giving a variety of exchanges and businesses the ability to work with digital assets within the country. Moreover, the overall goal is to facilitate the growth of crypto assets while protecting investors from the unnecessary risks. This is a great medium right here. I like this. I like the ability for regulators to still provide a space for this industry to improve and build upon and actually reach everyday consumers when providing something valuable and still having some protections for investors. And this is probably coming in the form, guys, of raising capital, right? Again, I personally believe that everyone should be able to invest as they choose, but when it comes to these projects that are downright scams, in many cases raising the kind of valuations that they do, it's usually a lot of concerns of money coming from very dark places, investing in these projects that's looking for a quick out, and B, it pries on a lot of, especially a lot of the scammier projects, pry on a lot of the investors who haven't had proper financial education. So it's kind of like a temporary patch, right? It's not the ultimate solution. Education is the ultimate solution. That's why I do this channel here. But I think it's awesome when a country can find this middle ground between having a nice regulatory framework, but at the same time, still allowing for a great technology to flourish, especially in a place that needs it so much. Well, speaking about outright scams, OneCoin, the crypto scam lawyer who has actually operated the legal proceedings in relation to the scam, has now been found guilty of over $400 million worth of fraud. So finally, some of the people in OneCoin are getting clamped down on. And we can see here as we take a look across the board, he's one of the many individuals, he's a Florida-based lawyer who has been boasting about making 50 by 50. So basically means if by the age of 50, he made $50 million. Well, he made it out of scamming people and supposedly out of $400 million of damages in relation to the OneCoin Foundation or the OneCoin company. Now, this has been an ongoing issue. For those of you who don't know, it's basically been a cryptocurrency scam, and it's really not a cryptocurrency. The issue is that they are basically a central company that is the sole issuer of the coin and the sole place where that coin is traded. So as you guys have probably seen in all the exchanges, these fake exchanges that are popping up, you can see all these assets go from nothing to $40 or $50 each coin. And how could that be? Well, it's because they control the price. And there's actually no coin. There's actually no cryptocurrency in this case. It's just an entire scam to make people on paper think they're wealthy, hint, BitConnect, right? It's very similar. It's just a different format. And they go around preaching about how OneCoin will set people financially free and all this stuff. Long story short, it's been going on forever. And the BBC actually came out with a really little interesting podcast that I want to check out. I haven't gotten to listen to it yet, but they're doing something following the missing crypto queen. This is the founder. I always mispronounce her name. Dr. Ruja Ignatova, who is basically the founder of OneCoin. She was the face of it for a very long time, and now she's gone missing. I've heard rumors that she's out on a boat somewhere. I mean, people don't really know. But anyways, if you want to check this out, you guys can look it up, the missing crypto queen in this case, and you'll be able to find the podcast. But I'm interested in giving this a listen here in just a bit. Now, got to say, in the sense of equities, guys, we're going to be talking about the more positive tone in equities. But I have to say, I've been blown out of the water here. All right. And again, I get a rush out of mentioning when I'm wrong on something, to be humble and also to talk about how I learn from something. So I was watching the Tesla reveal for the Cybertruck in this case. And when they came out the reveal, I was highly disappointed because I thought it was important for Tesla to play it safe. I thought it was important for Tesla to simply make a vehicle. If you guys haven't heard already, I think it's already pretty well known. If you can see the headlines here, they're all over the place. But I was expecting that with Tesla's goal of trying to service the 1.5 million trucks that are being sold every year to truck drivers, that they shouldn't do something above and beyond, and something that to me seemed a bit nerdy and kind of, something that I would possibly like, but not something that an average truck driver may like. Well, lo and behold, with my kind of cognitive dissonance and maybe my kind of I don't know what the right term would be. I guess I kind of had a tunnel vision view on it, right? I wasn't able to look at the broader picture and step outside the box. Turns out that they've got over 200K pre-orders in a little over 2 or 3 days. So pretty exciting stuff. I have to give them props on that one, right? Just a few days, they've already gotten this many pre-orders. And you can see what was originally a down day in the market is looking like a pre-market bounce of about 4%. It wasn't as bad as many of us assumed. Now, the one thing I'll say, just as a point of criticism, is that the pre-orders are extremely cheap. You only have to put down $100 and it's refundable. Okay, so that's why I think most of the market is not completely making up for this loss and paying a premium. If it was actually like $1,000 to $2,000 non-refundable deposit, in that case, you'd have the market just screaming a massive rally in this case, because it does give us a hint that we might be seeing a demand for an electric truck, which is going to be really cool. I mean, no matter if you care about it on the philosophical basis, like the kind of moral objective goals that Tesla's put forward, or in this case, if you're just interested in seeing some cool competition and U.S. built trucks in this case that again could compete to be a better product. I love anything like that. I like it for the U.S. built. I love it for the environmental aspect. I love it for the efficiency. You guys should check the stats on it. It's pretty damn impressive. Anyways, the question is here: do you like the design? And that's where it's very controversial. I'm kind of indifferent on it. Anyways, let's go ahead here. We'll take a look at the market. And see here, not some crazy rally, but we are up about 1/4 to 1/3 of a percentage across the indices. All right, we can see here the Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq doing well. European equities doing well as well as the FTSE 100. All right, we can see most of the market globally is doing nicely. Now, why is this? Well, all right, why are equities really going up at the moment? Why are we continuing to press higher to new highs? It's become clear, guys. Right, even with a potential for declining stock buybacks and maybe even dividends eventually fading out. Right, we tend to find dividends are a delaying indicator. Central banks are a net positive to the markets right now. They are adding into the market, and this is only going to pick up more and more because the Fed, the most well-positioned central bank out of any global central bank, with all of the easy relief we had from stock buybacks and the increases on dividends due to the tax cuts and repatriation of funds, the Fed has taken a sharp turn and is playing catch up with the other central banks. And don't think that Japan, the ECB, and China are not looking to make that same sharp reversal. They're already doing it. China already is on the local level seeing some of the largest credit injection in their economy. Japan, I think, has no doubt that it's still going to continue buying up equities. The ECB is looking right now at reversing quantitative easing. They're looking at how other central banks are. There's some internal conflict, but no doubt that eventually they will, because if Jay Powell, who was an absolute hawk and wanted to keep interest rates down and keep reducing the balance sheet on autopilot, could flip on a dime and now is going to talk to Trump about negative interest rates, I mean, this pretty much proves that anything can go now, and everyone's going to play in this game of funny money, and they're going to keep propping things up as long as they want. We've seen it in the housing market, as we talked about yesterday. We've seen it on the global stage in equities. It's going to continue. So that is why we've shifted our position from being bearish to neutral. All right, we're not bullish, right? I personally believe that equities are going to climb up a few more percentage points, and this goes in line with the statement I made a few months back with after we have the yield curve inversion, we still have usually an average 25% rally. We're in that rally right now. The risk to reward, though, is not enough for me to be bullish, right? I get bullish in opportunities when we've had 50% corrections, and I know that there is not going to be a doomsday scenario where it's the end of the world, and there's a good risk profile where I'm entering it and I can ride up for the long term. That's what makes me bullish. It's why I get bullish on Bitcoin when we go down to 3,000 to 5,000, right? That's the kind of range that I get excited. After we went from around 20,000, right? That's the near 80% correction. And the same goes for cannabis markets, right? I'm looking at cannabis equities. We're getting real close. There was some rally that we had the other day. I'll go ahead and actually talk a little bit about that if you guys would like me to. Well, I can't really tell if you guys would like me to. If you'd like me to, put a like to the video, even though I'm already going to do it because I need to have some way of knowing if you guys really liked it. No, I digress. If we take a look at Kronos Group, right? Huge bump up here on the a matter of about 3 days, and then a follow through sell off. So we'll see if this will continue to the downside or upside, right? We can see here, we'll take a look at Canopy Growth Corp. Same exact thing, bounced from $13.85 up to $21, and started to fade off. Again, these look good to me, but on most of my weekly indicators, they're not flashing signs to go long just yet, right? This to me still looks, I think what we need is an actual bottom here where we actually rest on support. And we're still far ways away from that 80% correction territory on most of these plays, right? You can do it on Aurora Cannabis, right? ACB getting close, but no cigar. I got one of my analogies right today, guys. That alone, I think, deserves a thumb up. Let's go ahead, though, guys. That's going to be it for the video. Let's go ahead and dive into our review of Ledger. Alrighty, everyone, so let's go ahead and spend some time to take a look at today's sponsor, and it is no other than Ledger. Now, for those of you out there who have a long-term investment in cryptocurrencies or looking to buy a long-term position in crypto soon, it's not only important to simply do your research on the fundamentals of the cryptos that you want to buy, as well as knowing where to buy them, but most importantly, above all, it's important to know where to secure them. And I don't think I have to be the one to tell you guys this. You've probably seen the multi-billion-dollar exchange hacks that have been going on year after year, as well as the cases where people get all their personal funds stolen if they mismanage them in a variety of different cryptocurrency wallets or ways that you manage your private key. And in this case, this is where Ledger comes into play. This is the Ledger Nano X. It's one of the many products that they have. I've developed a lot. I've been using Ledger for a very long time. I've never had any personal issues when I use Ledger. And I'm here today to basically focus in on what the Ledger Nano X offers between not only security, which is priority number one, to also simplicity and functionality, where hardware wallets, as well as wallets in general, are just getting to a state where they're, I think, a lot better than where they were back in, say, 2016 or 2017, when we probably last talked about Ledger. So we're going to go ahead. I'll probably jump a few times throughout this video and stuff to points that are more important as I'll be going through and recording the entire onboarding. Not to mention I need to probably block out areas like my seed phrase, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how it is to actually set up the Ledger wallet here, and we'll set it up real time on my computer. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Alrighty, so to get started, we just opened up the box here, and I want to go ahead and give you guys a quick look at the actual product itself. This is the Ledger Nano X. It's very simple, very familiar, and not overwhelming. It's not bulky or anything. It's just a very nice, lightweight hardware device here for cold storage of cryptocurrencies. And you can see here, you can kind of open it up here, and you can see the screen here. And there's two different buttons that we'll be talking about here that are very relevant in order to actually use the product. However, we actually have to go ahead and download the desktop software we're going to use to interact with this wallet. So we're going to go ahead and head over to Ledger Live. I'll leave the link down below if you guys would like to follow with me. But again, you'll get basically all the information once you actually purchase the product if you're interested. So to actually get started, we have to go to ledger.com/start, and this is going to take us to selecting what kind of device that we have. In this case, we've got the Ledger Nano X, and we're going to download the proper desktop client. Now, I've actually already done this because, again, I use Ledger products, and they recently launched this. Ledger Live looks really clean, a huge improvement from the old interface of Ledger. So again, you guys can download this for free, and it's basically a way to interact with the device. You just follow the very basic steps here, and then you can start accessing up to 22 coins and ERC20 tokens across the board through Ledger Live, as well as interacting with them in that case. So very cool setup. But we're going to go ahead, we'll get it opened up here. So let's go ahead and actually take a look inside Ledger Live and how we interact and onboard our new cold storage solution. Alrighty, everyone, so as you can probably tell, we are now on the Ledger Live platform. This is the desktop interface that allows us to interact with our cryptocurrencies on the hardware solution that we have, or the cold storage solution, which is the Ledger Nano X. Now, before we actually dive into taking a look at how to set up the wallet and use the Ledger Live platform, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the clear benefits that come with the Ledger Nano X. Now, a lot of people at the end of the day do care about, ease of use, and not to mention as well, just the functionality that should come with a wallet. And with the Ledger Live platform, you get all that. It's very easy to manage in that case, and you also get to connect to a variety of applications, over 100 in this case in the Ledger Live platform with the Ledger Nano X. However, I think the biggest selling points come in the security. So for example, each Ledger Nano X uses a specific chip technology known as CCELA 5+. Long story short, it's the industry standard utilized for credit cards and a lot of other payment systems, right? So you're basically able to have industry-grade security on your hardware solution. Not to mention, they use their own custom operating system, and this is something known as BOLOS or BOLOS. Long story short, the reason this could be an added benefit from my understanding is that similar to how Mac OS is not susceptible to Windows viruses and vice versa, having a custom operating system built for your hardware solution makes it very difficult for people to actually build something to break past the walls of encryption, to break past the security systems that they have implemented and the firewalls that protect your funds, right? So putting it really simple there, that's the benefit of it. And they're also certified as well. So they're one of the actual few wallets that have actually been tested in this case and are basically, an actual solution in this case that you could utilize to store a large amount of funds and feeling secure about storing those funds, right? And as I mentioned again, there's a lot of different other benefits as well, and simplicity and functionality, but we'll kind of see that as we actually go through and test out the wallet. So each of these Ledger Nano X's are going to come with a USB cable. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the smaller end here that's actually going to plug in into the open solution here. So we have to actually open up the Ledger Nano X here, reveal the plug here, or the port. So before we actually plug in the Ledger Nano X, I want to let you all know that I skipped a little bit ahead. I actually went through and processed my recovery phrase, and you have to do that on the actual device itself. I recommend not doing it plugged in until you've actually set up that seed phrase and written it down somewhere. They actually give you a lot of these individual little cards within the box, so it's important to write it down, write it in order, and of course they're going to make you back test it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug it in, and just in a matter of seconds, our wallet comes up like this. So we now have access to install not only a wallet for each of these different cryptocurrencies. I mean, you just take a look across the board, guys. They have pretty much covered any of the major cryptocurrencies or blockchains you can think of. But they definitely have some of the big players here. They have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, Binance Chain, and Litecoin, as well as EOS, Tron, Stellar, and Cardano. So they're really covering the bulk here of protocols in the cryptocurrency space. Now, again, the really cool thing about this is that it's just simple one-click solutions to install these. So if I want to store Bitcoin, I just click install. It takes a matter of a few seconds here. It says processing on my Ledger Nano X right now, so it's actually processing the install. And Bitcoin was successfully installed, so I can just go ahead here and click Add Bitcoin Account. So we'll go ahead and select Bitcoin out of any cryptocurrency. And then what I'm going to actually do on the device here is I'm going to go ahead and press the two buttons, one on the left and one on the right, as instructed to whenever I need to click on the Ledger Nano X. And it's actually going to allow the Ledger in this case to connect. There we go. Awesome. So now we've actually set up a Bitcoin wallet on the device there. It's synchronizing at the moment. So what's nice is it just takes a few seconds to set this stuff up, guys. And I understand sometimes with these devices, there's a little bit of extra work than just simply keeping your funds on exchange or going through something like a software wallet, which already is going to have a very similar onboarding process. But the major thing here is that we're actually able to have validity in this case with the security that comes with a cold wallet solution in this case. So we've already set it up, and we can even create more accounts if we'd like, but for now, this is gonna be good for me, and I can do the same here as well for all of my different accounts, right? I can go back and I can set up different types of cryptocurrencies. I can add an account here, choose a different cryptocurrency, right? You have all kinds of different cryptos to cover here, right? Now, the real interesting thing here is the portfolio tab. So you'll be able to see real time here a chart displaying of your asset value. And this has been one of the biggest issues for a lot of cryptocurrency wallets or a lot of these interfaces for cold storage wallets, is that there wasn't a really beautiful interface to interact with and make it feel familiar to what we're used to with exchanges and the kind of interfaces that we interact with on a daily basis. Well, you can actually do that. You can adjust the time frame here. Now, of course, I just generated this wallet. There's not going to be anything in it, but you can see here as well your asset allocation. So it's like a portfolio dashboard, which is really nice, and it's very clean. I can tell you guys, I've used this as a different version of Ledger Live and stuff. Again, it's a very clean software here. We're just starting off from scratch. And then you have basic send and receive functionality, right? You can get, a recipient address in this case, choose how much Bitcoin you want to send, or maybe put it in USD terms, choose your custom fee. And also, again, you can swap up the currency here depending on which ones you have. You can also receive as well. You just got to choose what currency you want, continue, have your device connected. I have to verify the address here, so we're going to click continue, right? And I can go ahead here, click both of them, right? So in this case, I've got the address right here that's connected to my device. So very nice stuff here. Again, very simple, right? So in summary, guys, the wallet works very clean. The interface as well of Ledger Live is simple. It provides all the functionality you need, from send and receive functionality, as well as being able to view your portfolio, all while maintaining the security of the application, and even letting you buy crypto as well. So they connect to a variety of different on-ramps here, from some of the major exchanges like Bitpanda to some of the fiat providers in the EU and US, such as Simplex, ChangeNow, and a few other ones like decentralized exchanges like KyberSwap. So this is when wallets are getting a little bit more functional, guys. Again, I've talked about this on the channel with some of the previous wallets we reviewed, but it's getting to this point now where you can interact from a wallet, and you don't need to actually go to some third-party exchange, and you can be the sole manager of your keys the entire time. It's a pretty exciting time, guys. Well, if you are interested in this, not to mention the holiday season is coming up, if you're maybe thinking someone else might be interested or looking into getting into crypto, the best thing you could probably give them is a secure solution to store it, or for yourself as well. So if you guys would like, I have a referral link down below in the description if you'd like to use it. There's no pressure, but again, it's a great way to basically save a little bit of money, be able to purchase a ledger in this case, and get yourself something nice for the holiday season. That being said, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed this review, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.